Okay, Richard, thank you for having me here today. I will focus today on highlighting the Tri-City key features as a potential city investors can simply pick for a future investment, and also try to explain a little bit the unique location of our place. Let me start from the key facts and key figures. So Tri-City is located in northern Poland, consists of Gdynia, Sopot, and Gdansk, three cities. It's the biggest agglomeration in northern Poland, actually. 1.6 million residents in the Tri-City agglomeration. So main cities in the satellite suburbs. It's also a logistic triangle. We've got two harbors in Gdynia and in Gdansk, and the busy international airport. In terms of the international communication, it's super important for investors to have smooth connection with other parts of Poland, with other parts of Europe, and with other parts, of course, of the world. Lech Wałęsa Airport is the third biggest airport in Poland, 5.4 million passengers in 2019 and over 80 direct connections to the different cities. International connection is the one thing, but not so long ago, we didn't have a good national transportation system. So modern highways and modern railways, it's a matter of the last years and second decade of 21st century. And suddenly, when this infrastructure became available for all people, it boosted the mobility of Polish employees and Polish workforce. It was simpler to, for example, move to Tri-City from the other city and start working here, having in mind that traveling to your hometown is not a matter of the whole day, but rather hours. For example, traveling from Tri-City to the capital to Warsaw by train is approximately 3 hours, by car for 4.5 hours, a little bit shorter time if you have a fastest, quicker car, simply. National transportation system, international transportation system is pretty clear, but if you also take a look on the microregion of Tri-City and you will see the catchment area, draw the circle around our region, you will see that there is no other bigger agglomeration in the area. So Tri-City is not like a magnet for all the businesses and all the workforce in the northern Poland. That's a very important for investors to know that they can attract not only people from the city, but also from the close area and also from different other regions of Poland and the world. In terms of Tri-City attractiveness as a potential place which can be picked for investment, I think the best proof of that is the business service sector in Tri-City and how it's transformed the business here. Currently, we've got over 155 companies in the BSS sector who decided to pick Tri-City for the location during the last 20 years. In terms of the employment growth, we are talking here about it went simply from 5,000 people up to 30,000 people during the last 9 years. So it's not only companies who decide it's not only a new business, it's also the companies who simply expand their business in Tri-City during all these years, starting very modest with the, for example, dozen of work places and grow up to even thousand workplaces within one company. Countries of origins of the investors in BSS sector, most number of the employees are from Nordic countries, from the USA, from the United Kingdom, Germany, Japan, and also, of course, from the other countries. And they're focused on the worker skills. One of the most important skill are the language skills. Apart, of course, from the some skills required by the specific business like IT or, for example, HR, the key factor is the possibility to attract people who spoke in different languages. And here in Tricity, it's possible not only within the Gdansk, Gdynia and Sopot, but also within the whole region. And why business service sector, in my opinion, is the best place to attract, like a mirror in which we can see how Tricity is perceived by the business and what kind of business attractiveness it represents, because BSS sector is taking into account the number of features which are important when they are when the companies are deciding to set a new location here. And we are talking about presence of course, availability and presence of skillful talents and workers, about all the transportation system, both public and national and international, about the presence of modern office space, and of course the support of the local investor unit. And Invest Pomerania is doing here a good job. So taking all of that into account, in 2020, ABSL presented the result of business service sector assessment, and Tricity won the #1 place in this assessment for the best place for doing business for BSS sector companies. We talked about the transportation, we talked about the skillful employees, but also one of the important things is the modern stock of the office stock. And the most important thing you need to know is that Tricity has a very modern office stock. Most of the buildings were constructed during the last 7 years. What's more, there's over 100,000 square meters of modern office space being constructed right now to be delivered on the market next year. Apart from that, there's also additional demand. Many companies during the COVID period decided that they will be looking for a subtenant for their own office spaces. So if you are looking for a modern office in Tricity, you are not only able to pick from the current modern office stock, but also from the buildings which will be delivered next year, and it's over 100,000, as I said, but also from the new supply, plug and play, ready to move in offices offered by other tenants. So that's in terms of the supply. In terms of demand, it's a different story, I think, for a different presentation. Of course, most of the offices are right now quite empty, and many companies are thinking about squeezing the requirement for new office from 30% up to even 50%. However, at the same time, companies are predicting they will be growing significantly here. So we will see how the demand for office space we're going to look like. One thing is sure, we can't anymore link the demand, the growth in the headcount growth with the number of square meters required by the companies. In terms of the industrial market, which could be also interesting for many companies, industrial is currently booming. In Tricity, which is the cross-section with the harbors and airport and big DCT container terminal here on next to Gdansk. So it's grow 80% during the last 2 years. Now is of course booming due to the e-commerce boom during the COVID period. But thanks to the modern railway and highway and DCT container terminal, which is the biggest container terminal in Poland and the first deep water terminal in the Baltic Sea region. This sector is attracting new developers of the industrial stock, as well as the companies who would like to have the space here to keep the storage for their own purposes. Last but not least, the Tricity quality of living here and the perception. Long sandy beaches, Baltic seashore, forest in the national park on the other side of the city, lakes, Old Town in Gdansk, biking paths, all the things which are not very easy to catch when you are only judging by the excellent number of available square meters or skills of the employees. But it's proven by the local investors, by the investors who invest here in Poland and set in Tricity and set the location here, that it simply gives you a additional advantage to attract people from other part of the country and other countries to live here, especially that there's so many places where the quality life is a little bit less attractive than Tricity. Let's start a discussion and see how the other perceive the Tricity from their own experience. Thank you.